I think you've got to have passion, because without passion you're a little bit dead, you know. Yeah, well, I started off, I was a coach of Manakau South East, which was Papatoe and Harrop. And as a result of that, and we won pretty consistently, Auckland high performance manager at the time was a guy called Kaushik Patel, and he said, Nick, we'd like you to coach Auckland under 14s. So our first tournament we had was out at the suburbs ground, and we got our ass kicked big and proper by a pretty good ND team that had Southie in it at the time. So we got to the final because we won our other games, and I said, I can't do the same, you know, we've got to change it up a bit. And I had a former great of Auckland Cricket, Mark Burgess, his son Michael was in the team, and he said, Nick, what are you going to do? And I said, well, because he was there the first game, they gave us a bit of talent, but I said, I'm going to change it up. I've got an idea. So I spoke to 2 or 3 boys that affected, and we walloped them. So I had 2 years with under 14, and I thought I'd do the 15s next year, but they took me into 17s. And that was good because I worked along as an assistant coach. I think we won it twice in 3 years, but it was a low light. We had a really, really good team. 2 of them went on to play for New Zealand. 3 of them went on to addition, played first class cricket. And on paper, they were the best team there. We got dead middleless last. And for me, it just showed that if you didn't turn up with the right attitude, didn't matter how much skill you had, you know, if you didn't have the right attitude, lesser teams could beat you. And that was a lesson to the players, and it was certainly a major lesson to myself. From 17s, it then became to 19s, and we also were fortuitous to win national. So you always had a mark on your back each time you played, you know, because we were pretty proud of not our achievements, players' achievements, you know. They had an under 23 team, and I took that. And then I took Auckland A, and that was a step up into the big class, you know. And about at that stage, Kaushik was still at the Auckland Cricket, and he turned around and he said, what do you want to do now? And I said, well, I'm not a career coach, you know, and I have a lovely passion for cricket, but I think one day I'd like to be a selector for Auckland Aces. And he said, why not now? So we got into that, and our coaches were Paul Strang and Matt Horn, and they were terrific to work with. And I had about, 9-10 years as selector for the Aces, and I enjoyed every bloody minute of it, you know. That's pretty much the journey from 14 through, you know, so it was just a pleasure to be involved and be invited, and the terrific people that you met on the way through, you know. Dean Bartlett, one of the predecessors at Auckland Cricket, and he was in my under 19 team and what have you, know. And they always called me Tiger because I'm a bit forgetful for names, but I'm not too bad on faces, so I just call people Tiger. So now they all call me Tiger. They gave me number plates Tiger and all this. Mitchell McKinnigan gave us a hat Tiger across the front, you know. And I was down in the South Island, and I was at a place called Methven, and I get a call about 5 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and Mark, and he said, Dutchie's got nowhere to live, can he come and stay with us? And I said, well, you better ring Nikki, you know. I said, for me, no problem, but, you know, she's the boss. About 7:30 I rang her, you know, and she said, Dutchie's staying here, you know, and I said, when does he come? She said, he only found out today that he couldn't stay there that day, so he stayed with us for about 6 weeks, I suppose, and then he's got relatives over in Mackay and Brisbane respectively. So we went away at Christmas, you know, and I took him out to the airport, and I said to mate, you can stay with us as long as you wanted, mate, so you don't have to worry about where you're going to be and so on and so forth. And he stayed with us, it must have been 3 going on 4 years, and he was a pleasure, you know. He was absolutely nice, and so, you know, I looked after him, and I looked after also guys that came up for the Aces, you know. They come and stay with us for a while, and that's how Danru, he stayed with us, and Dickie stay with us, you know, just to get them sort of settled down to the environment, you know. They know us, they just say, your family all the time, you know. Well, it's consumed my life because I have friends that say, Nick, you don't have any summers because we invite you away to the beach. No, I can't because I took the job really serious, you know, like in terms of if it's good enough for us, the players, to commit every weekend and whatever, it's good enough for selectors too, you know. I guess for a long period of time I bled blue and white, but I realised cricket's more than that, you know, and it was the same when I was coaching, you know, that every year if we had failures, I always looked not externally to the players, I always looked internally to me. What could I have done that could have made that better, you know? And it was the same in selector. What could I have done that could have made that better, you know? And through that I learned to accept that there are times, as good as you may be, there might be another team or another player that was better than your guys, you know? Take a bit, you know, but there you go.